climb that stairway to the stars, with love beside us to fill the night with a song. We'll hear the sound of violins out yonder where the blue begins. The moon will guide us as we go drifting along. Can't we sail away on a lazy daisy pedal?
Out of your mind and picture dancing. Can you just see them swirling around a huge German dance floor to that song?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
They didn't have to rely on live musicians, folks, with their egos and their money and their coffee breaks. Sorry, I'm a musician myself, not dishing myself. But these machines could play all night long.
Did
They didn't have to close the venue.
Or did they ever play other types of music?
Oh, they can play anything. Kind of roll for it, it'll play anything.
It'll play anything.
Absolutely. Anything. Rock, jazz, blues, you make the roll for it and it'll play it. So, sadly, we didn't have these machines here in the United States, folks. So the way we got our entertainment during that same era was called the Nickelodeon. And it was the Nickelodeon that evolved into the movie theater. And that's where we went then, that's where we go now for entertainment. We go to see a movie. Movies take us where we can't go. Have any of you seen the House with the Clock in its Walls?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I love it. Yes.
It prominently featured one of these great organs, folks. The entire closing credits was played on an organ like this. So yeah, these instruments, wow. But movies are terrific because they really, it's a gift to us. They take us where we can't go on our own, into the past, into the future, into space, underground, see, underwater. But when you went to see a movie 110 years ago, the movie screens would come down, like ours up there, the lights would go off, and I'd like all of you to listen very carefully, because this is what those people heard.
Oh.
You're waiting for me to do something.
Yeah.
Silent movies. There was no sound, and there wouldn't be sound for 40 years. 40 years of silence. The silence was broken in the summer of 1926 with the premiere of Al Jolson's The Jazz Singer. But prior to that breakthrough, all of the sounds in the music were live. Real musicians, male and female, would sit in those very dark, very smoky theaters and hand play movie after movie, night after night, decade after decade. Some theaters had orchestras, but that was extremely rare because of cost and space. So the majority of theaters all over the world, folks, either had a piano or one of these. This is the mighty Wurlitzer Theater pipe organ. Hold on. It's a genuine American musical instrument.
Wow.
Yes. It's our largest instrument playing, but sadly it's had the shortest lifespan, because it only lasted through the end of the silent movie era, and then maybe into the mid to late 30s, and then they were destroyed. I'm very proud to say that this old gal behind me is now 100 years old. It played for the first time March 1st, 1918 at the Denver Auditorium in Denver, Colorado. Now, when we first started the tour, I introduced myself as the curator and master technician. Now you see what I have the honor of taking care of, folks. All these amazing musical instruments that hopefully you've enjoyed this morning. All of the clocks, the watches, 42 pianos, and this behemoth behind me. It is a one-man job. I take care of them all by myself. And I had hair when I started. I used to like her. She's still laughing. But there's something I haven't shared with you yet, is for the past 53 years, yikes, the true love of my life, I'm also a concert organist. So I get the thrill of playing her numerous times during the day, and by playing her is how I learn what needs to be done to take care of her. So here's her story from hands-on experience, folks. Someone who really can master all 537 options behind me. It is a pipe organ. Hopefully you've seen them before in your churches, temples, synagogues, performing arts centers, and the great cathedrals all over the world. But theater pipe organs weren't meant to be seen. They were meant to be heard. So when you went to see a movie, your focus was on the organ. or the movie and not seeing this beautiful thing. So they were buried in the walls. So is ours. Surrounding you right now on all four sides, folks, and over your head and under your feet, is the third largest theater pipe organ in the world. Waiting to play for you at this very moment are 5,132 organ pipes. If you thought these were powerful, they have less than 200 each. This has 5,200 pipes.
Wow.
The smallest is 1/4 of an inch, which is the size of the pink erasers on our yellow pencils. The largest pipe in the Nethercutt organ is 33 feet long and almost 40-inch square. You two could stand inside. It'd probably be fun. It's fun. I've done it. And it plays. They're mounted along this wall, and they go up into the 5th floor. Now that sound is so low, you may not hear a pitch, but one of those pipes shakes this entire 6-story building.
Wow.
Isn't that beautiful? That's air. It's a whistle, folks. It's air blowing through a wooden pipe. Now, if you're trying to record that now, you'll have a time of dead space because you cannot record that sound. It is physically impossible. And you can't play it back either because there's no speakers that exist that will play something that low. And it'd be the size of a Buick. So in addition to those 5,200 pipes, and that's just one, there's 5,200 more, folks. So in addition to all those pipes, the foundation, sound effects. Each one of these little white buttons is directly attached to a sound effect in and around the organ. Now these are generic in nature, so you can use one sound for maybe a dozen different things. So if I was going to like knock on a door, you had a sound. He didn't answer. How about a horse? Now that sounds very juvenile to us and very amateurish, doesn't it? Because now we can actually have a recording of a horse running by and the actual nature sounds because they've been sampled to perfection. When they heard these sounds 110 years ago, they were thrilled to death, folks, because the silence was over. It didn't matter how the sounds came. It was a sound. So I'm going to demonstrate these wonderful sounds to you, but remind me first, how old is the organ?
100 years old.
100 years old. Keep that in mind when you hear her, folks. Because 100 years ago, part of our world still hadn't seen a light bulb. That's a fact. Therefore, there are no iPads, iPhone apps, digitally enhanced nonsense. There's no MIDI, there's no WAV files, there's no MP3s, because there's not one speaker attached to her anywhere. I know. I was around in 1918. No, it's true. I just hide it well, thanks to Merle Norman Cosmetics. Anything that can be played now, if there's you've seen in jazz, blues, and symphonics, they can be played from the organ because air can blow on those mallets and make the mallets strike the instrument. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
That's 100 years old, folks. Can you imagine? March 1st, 1918, when it played for the first time. What a thrill it must have been for those people. The silence was over. I envy that night. Now, because we have the ways and means, I'm continuously adding to the organ, but the more I add, the more I have to take care of. But it also has to keep in theme with the collection. Remember, functional fine art? It has to function at all times, and it also has to play by itself. Pipe organs don't play by themselves. They do now. We created it. We invented and created the very first musical instrument known to man, folks. This is fact. That would actually record you as you played it. Everything you touch sends that 12-volt spike into the system, just a little signal. We were able to record those signals on NASA tapes that spun in the back of the room at incredible velocity. You've all seen them in your sci-fi movies at JPL and all that kind of bit. Well, they worked because they recorded the signals. When we played the signals back, she played all over with you before I shut up. Trademark patent. Do y'all notice Black Beauty?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't she beautiful?
Yeah.
That is the Duesenberg Concert Imperial Grand Piano. It's called the Imperial for one reason. How many keys, how many notes are on a piano keyboard?
88.
88. That's international, every piano. Are you ready for this? The Imperial Grand has 97. Watch. Pipe organ. Enjoy her performance.
Harry Potter.
and settle high on the crest of a thrill. Let's build a stairway to the stars, a lovely, lovely stairway to the stars. It would be heaven to climb to heaven with you.